Hello students, so here Raminder Kaur and I am going to teach you chapter number 7, Evolution. This is the third video lecture. We are going to start with the topic Adaptive Radiation. So as we have studied Charles Darwin, a biologist and a naturalist, he went for 5 years for a sea voyage and he went to a Galapagos island where he found that the creatures they were having different kind of habits which were different for other particular regions. So he found small black birds which were also named as Darwin finches, which amazed him because of the different beak shape and their different features. Let's first of all study this slide. Number 1 is a tortoise that is found in that particular island, which looks exactly different from the other kind of tortoise found in other parts of the world. So this is the largest on earth and different in body size as well as shape. Number 2, marine iguanas, they eat algae only from the oceans. You can see how their claws, they look like hands and they help to cling to the slippery rocks. Then number 3 are those finches by which he has generally talked about the adaptive radiation, that how some of them they have adapted themselves to eat the cactus. So let's study. If you look in this figure 7.5, you can see that the shape of the beak is exactly different from one another. These kind of finches, they are the black birds, and why they are different? In his studies, he found that some of the birds, they were eating seeds. Some of them were feeding upon cactus, some of them were exactly vegetarian and eating upon the buds of the plant, and few of them were insectivorous and eating upon the insects. That's why their shape of the beak, they were changed according to the adaptations of the feeding habits in their surroundings. So within this, he has named this process of evolution called as adaptive radiation, that the species they can differ from one geographical area to the another. So this is the best known example. Second example is Australian marsupials. So different kind of organisms that were found in Australia, they were different from the other continents. Like if we take example of the cat, the tiger cat found in Australia is fully different from the cat that is found in other geographical regions. So marsupial radiation is also example of adaptive radiation. So in this picture, they have shown Tasmanian wolf, then tiger cat, banded anteater, marsupial rat, kangaroo, wombat, bandicoot, koala, marsupial mole, and sugar glider. So these kind of variety of organism found in Australia is fully different from the different kind of animals which are found in other part of the world. This kind of evolution is also known as convergent evolution because their functions may be same but their structure is different. So placental mammals in Australia, they are evolved in adaptive radiation because there are variety of mammals which appear to be similar. Number 1, they have shown placental mammals which are found other than Australia, and on the right hand side they have shown the organisms which are found only in Australia. So you can see the mole that is normally found in other continents and the marsupial mole that is only found in Australia, how they differ from each other. Number 2, anteater. Number 3, mouse. Number 4, lemur. Number 5, squirrel. So both are flying squirrels but they differ in their structures. Similarly, bobcat and tiger cat, wolf and Tasmanian wolf. So there are certain kind of variations among the animals which are found in different geographical regions of the world. So Darwin theory, he has mostly talked about natural selection. So rate of appearance of new forms, it depends upon the life cycle or the lifespan of any organism. If we take an example of microbes, that can be bacteria, viruses, fungus. So they have the ability to reproduce at a higher rate, and within few hours they can multiply into million in numbers. So if we take an example that one colony of bacteria, say A, it is growing in one kind of medium, let's say at 27 degrees Celsius temperature. If we change suddenly the temperature from 27 degrees Celsius to 40 degrees Celsius, what do you think? All the kind of bacteria surviving in medium A will diminish? Answer is no. Few of them will die, but few of them, they will adapt to the new kind of temperature conditions around them. So this is called as speciation, when new species they are generated which can outgrow according to the new environmental condition. So same thing happened within the million of years, that different kind of organisms they evolve, and we can say the fitness of the new population is better than fitness of the population A. So who selects the fitness? It is the nature that selects it, that which organism can survive and which will diminish. So we can say fitness is the end result of the ability of any organism to adapt according to the environmental conditions and get selected by nature. Let's study in brief the Darwin theory. Number 1, he talked about those variations which are passing on from one generation to another. They always exist in the species. Number 2, in any kind of environment, some individuals are there which are better suited than the others. Here I can just repeat the example of those moth or beetles. So if on the tree green beetles are also there and red beetles are also there, which one will have more survival rate? Obviously green beetle, because the background color is also same, so predators will not attack them so easily as red beetles get attack of the predators. Within the pass of the time, certain characters they make certain individuals more capable to survive as compared to another, and fossils are giving us a proper evidence that how the evolution has taken place. For example, Archaeopteryx is the connecting link between reptiles and birds. Before Darwin, one naturalist who was from France called as Lamarck, he also said that evolution of life forms had occurred, but it has evolved by use and disuse of certain organs. Like if we say in monkeys, tail is present, but in humans which have evolved from them, the tail is absent. Because when the body gets straightened, vertebral column had straightened up and the change has happened. So tail was not used by humans. That's why it has just removed out from the body. So Lamarck talked about use and disuse of the particular organs in the body, then it lead to evolution. But Darwin state that nature has the power to select which organs will stay and which will not. So Lamarck has given the example of a giraffe. So everybody have seen that they have long neck. So this diagram showing elongation of neck in giraffe according to Lamarck. Because these giraffe, they were more adapted to eat upon the foliage of the tall trees. So as their character, the acquired character of elongated neck, it passed on from one generation to another. That's why over the years, this kind of characteristics is passed on from one generation to another. But nobody believes in this kind of idea anymore, that these kind of characters they can pass on from one generation to another. Now the big question arises, evolution is a process or a result of a process? So if we generally see evolution as a process, because it is not an end, we cannot state that humans are the last mammals from which no evolution can take place, because we do not know, we do not have any evidences or proofs, because we don't know we will live at that particular moment when the evolution of humans will also takes place. But if we treat evolution as a process, so it is best example of natural selection, but still it is not clear whether to take evolution as a process or as a result. Then it is very important question to differentiate the theories of Lamarck or the Darwinism. So already talked about. One more scientist, Thomas Malthus, he also worked on the population which influenced the Darwin. So he said that natural selection is based upon certain observations which are factual. For example, if we say around us, all the natural sources are limited. The water, the food, they are going to diminish one day. So, but the population is stable in size. Sometimes there are fluctuations. Sometimes mortality rate is higher than population decrease, or sometimes natality rate is higher than population size gets increased. But certainly we used to say that number of deaths are is equal to number of births. So size of population always remains same. So in this case, the fact that theoretically population size will grow if everybody reproduce maximally, but it never happens. If number of deer are they will keep on increasing, then there will be less producers, because number of deers, if they are maximum, they will eat upon the plants, and there will be very less biomass production of the plants. That's why lions are present who can eat upon deer. So this is the normal chain that we call as a food chain. So the population size never exceeds, it is always limited, means there are competitions for resources. Only some of them will survive, those who have more vigor, at the cost of the others. And so this is the idea given by the Darwin. He said that variations takes place which are heritable. Heritable means which can pass on from one generation to another. These kind of variations, they enable them to reproduce, and they can leave more number of generation. So for a period of time over many generations, survivals will leave more progeny, and there will be change in population characteristics, and then new species can be formed. So according to Darwin, organisms do not evolve, species evolve. He said within the population some kind of variations occur. What are variations? Variations are changes. These changes takes place in the DNA. He said during sexual reproduction and mutations, genes they change. That is called as genetic diversity. Now let's study the next topic known as mechanism of evolution, where two scientists, De Vries and Darwin, they will talk about the formation of new species that we called as speciation. Gregor John Mendel, he worked on genes in the pea plant, and he found that there can be different characters which can either show dominance or they can segregate during generation to generation. But Darwin ignored these all kind of observation, and he went on his own experiments. So in the first decade of 20th century, Hugo de Vries, he did one work where he said the type of mutations which are responsible for formation of new species. These mutations, he said, they are large differences which can occur suddenly in any kind of population. He believed that mutations are the base for the evolution, that only the mutations, when they will take place, then only new species will form. But Darwin said these minor variations, they are not responsible for formation of new species. According to De Vries, mutations are random and directionless, but Darwin said variations are small and directional. Means the gradually change, slowly the changes happen. Immediately the reptiles have not changed into birds. The slow change which took place million of years, then only the wings or the feathers, they started forming in the reptiles and they started flying. But Hugo de Vries said that these kind of mutations which are sudden changes, that these are very quick and they can be random and directionless, and we do not know whether new species will form or not. So according to Darwin, the whole evolution process is very slow, but according to De Vries, he said that evolution is a sudden process. So what is saltation? Single step large mutation. So De Vries said that new species will form whenever at any step, any kind of change happen, and the mutation will be very large. Study in population genetics will provide more clear idea about this concept, that how Darwin work was accepted over De Vries theory. Thank you, students.